Good morning, everyone. This is the July 2016 Radio Dev Call. I was just about to say this would be the smallest dev call ever, which I think is still true. Like 1 second before I clicked the start broadcast button, Chris joined. Otherwise, it would have been Sebastian and myself. Since there's so few people, I just want to run through a couple of announcements, and then I think that's going to be it for today. Which is, there are actually quite a few announcements, and I think the big one is the radio releases. So we have the 3.793 bug fix release, which is the not so interesting one. I don't think there was anything. Like, if you go through the list of bug fixes, it's very much, fix this, fix that. So I don't want to elaborate that, but 3.7.10 was also released, so the master release, and that's way more interesting. I quickly want to point out a couple of nice things. One of the biggest additions in 3.7.10 was the whole packet communications infrastructure. So that's something that Tom started working on before he released leadership of the project, and we decided to merge it into 3.7.10, even though it hadn't gotten like lots and lots of testing, but it's pretty complete, it's pretty good, and it's well documented, and I think the only way it'll actually get some exposure is if we release it, so I think this was the right call. And most importantly, this will supersede a couple of things that we currently have in our tree. So once we switch to 3.8, this will actually be the de facto digital modem framework, and other things will be deleted. So packet communications framework is very, very interesting. Take a look at it. It's still very new, and this is also still a good chance to get in there. So there's also a lot of cool changes on the GRC side, and I'd like Sebastian to just go over those real quick.
Yeah. So we basically have two big things that we merged in, and the first one was kind of worked on over the course of a whole year, and Seth finally got down and got it just right, which is the variable explorer, which is kind of a new concept of kind of managing your variables in flow graphs. So instead of having them in blocks scattered all over the canvas, they're just neatly organized in like a table, and a new panel, so to say. And in addition to that, you can also hide those blocks away from the canvas and get more the focus on signal processing blocks. And this concept is kind of new, and we're sort of we're not sure how well this is going to be received. So I'm happy to take any feedback on that. If this is a good idea, then we will probably think about taking this further, or if it's even needed to stick to the old way and have variables as blocks. The other thing that changed is something to the block tree. So the collection of all the blocks that are installed in GOC has received an additional hierarchy, which is meant to separate core blocks, those are shipped within radio, and blocks that come from OOT modules. Now this is a kind of an effort to get a little bit more organized. And we did this in a way that it's not ideal, but the main goal was to keep this forward and backward compatible. So if you do maintain an out-of-tree module, you'll have to sort of specially tag the parentmost category, and then it'll get nicely sorted into the block tree along with the core blocks and other OOT modules. For now, all legacy modules, meaning those who don't have that special format, will just go in a separate category. So I think after time we'll just have a nicely organized block tree on that side. Yeah, that's all from the release on my end. Martin?
So there's a very detailed release note page that Nathan wrote up. I'd just like to call out that I'm not actually in charge of the releases, doing the announcement. Most Nathan is the guy who does releases, and Jonathan, the guy who's doing all the merges and technical overview. I'd like to thank those. Take a look at the release page. there's been a couple of really interesting changes. But I don't want to read them all out. Some of them are pretty block specific. Yeah. So 3710, really exciting, and I think I'd like to encourage people to protest it and then going on. And also, the next branch is becoming more and more interesting, starting to diverge from master. And yeah, this is something I'd like to encourage people to take a look at. Okay, that's pretty much it on the release announcement side. One thing I keep want to plug, at least in this call, pretty much all year round, is the GNU, the GNU conference coming up September 12th through 16th. There are still tickets available, but so registrations are coming in all the time. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the block of reduced rate rooms is already booked out. So yeah, I'm sure there's still accommodation to be had in Boulder, but I think like the high popularity of the conference is going to make it more and more difficult. There's been a couple of decisions made on GR side, but I'm not completely up to date on those, so I'm not entirely sure what is there to announce. I know that the schedule is finalized, and we've also accepted our first batch of papers. But like there was something wrong with the WordPress, like the new WordPress thing. So I don't think the actual schedule. Let me just pull it up real quick before I lie on air. The actual schedule is still not on the website, but we know what it is. So if you need to figure stuff out, just I don't know, drop us an email or something. But yeah, the schedule will be announced like very, like I'm guessing. Yeah, so Community Conference, be there. It's going to be really cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone there. I've never actually been to Boulder, so all the more exciting. Okay, so that is GRCon. Just a quick reminder to go there. Also, a quick reminder, GSOC is still ongoing. There's a lot of stuff happening, particularly on the signal inspector side. I think that's where the most activity is currently happening. And I think we'll be hearing about that at GRCon, at least in form of a poster. But I think one of the students is actually going to be at GRCon. Sorry, yeah, at GRCon. I don't know, Sebastian, do you want to add anything as one of the mentors from the GSOC side?
Well, I can say that Sebastian Mueller is planning to attend, and he will, of course, tell us about his work on GR Inspector, and he's currently working on OFDM stuff, and looks pretty promising. So I'm looking forward to that.
Working on the Kozlowski algorithm, right?
Yeah, that sort of happened there.
Ravi is also still working on the PyBombs GUI. He also has a repository you can check out on track. Both of them have blogs. So I say both of them. There's actually 3 students. Christopher Richardson is also working on Signal Spectre. Also has a blog. So sorry if I forgot about him there. But all of these students' work is easy to follow. So interested to get feedback from the community about what's going on. Yeah, that's GSOC. That's all I had for today. This is a really short call, very small agenda. Does anyone have anything they wanted to add?
Do we still do working group stuff?
We do, but there hasn't been any updates. I kind of assumed your working group work was. You wanted to say something about the working group?
Well, I can. So, like, even before the release, we kind of started this big thing where we're sort of aiming towards 3.8 stuff that will go on next, on the branch next. And this is mostly switching the GUI bindings from PyGTK, which is GTK2, to GObject, which will be GTK3. And this it's kind of a big workload, more than we thought initially. We sort of converted this automatically and then got a whole bunch of deprecation warnings, which I guess happens if you have really old code. So we've been working for this, and if anyone out there is willing to help, we'll be more than happy to do so. We'll need all the help we can get on this, but we're pretty far along already, and all this stuff has been going on in a separate branch that will be merged into next once we're comfortable with doing so. It's kind of stable, but you get a wall of warnings, so we just want to get rid of those first.
Is it easy to segment those? I mean, if someone says, you know, I have an hour here and there to do that, or does it easy to jump in and
Well,
help?
yeah, it kind of is. I separated out tasks for dialogues. Glenn has been working on them, and Seth is doing actions. But part of some of these are really small and can sort of be done in like an evening or two. And so yeah, I'm never short of tasks on this end.
Okay, now let's say someone has an hour here or there to do stuff. Like, would they ask on the mailing list, or is there an obvious branch to check out, and then just fix the warnings, or what's the best way to?
Yeah, we have a branch on like GRC has its own repo, which is basically a clone of the upstream radio repo, and on this there is a GTK3 branch, which is sort of stable. I have one that's most probably a dozen commits ahead on my own GitHub account, and I merge that back from time to time. So this is sort of how we're organized. Yeah, and mailing list is good, or contact me on Slack or email.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're the only one here. Like I mentioned that I was doing some, like, kicking off some work on the educator side. Not a lot has happened. But we have now, like, at least we have the group organized. Then embedded and bulk is still no one's here, so I can't actually speak for those. And yeah, the processor working group is still in flux. We still need to figure out how exactly to move forward on that. Okay. Any last words? Marcus was asking if we can have higher block instead of higher block in 3.8. I don't know the answer. Would be nice. Maybe we can alias it or something. Okay, well, in that case, if no one else has anything, thanks for tuning in, guys. Next month there will be a call. It'll be the last call before the conference. But in September there probably won't. Or maybe there will. We'll see.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.